Well, as things get more serious geopolitically, other nations are doing what they want with their resources and maximising their in-house resources and also importing whatever they can from around the world so they can stockpile their own energy resources for later on. So they're quite happy to use Australia gas and oil so they don't have to worry about using their own sources of energy. And that's that Australians are watching this happen going, okay, but what about us? What happens if we sell everything to China and everything to Russia and everything to India? What are we going to do at the end of all this? Now, of course, the answer is probably going to be nuclear energy because we've got lots and lots of that. But when Australians look at their energy bill, they are wondering how much of that cost that they're seeing double is actually to do with producing that energy and getting it to their door. They want to know what they're paying for. Are you able to give us an overview of what that energy bill breakdown is, Aidan?
Sure, yeah, there is about sort of three rough components that you could split it into. Only about 30% is to actually generate the electricity. 30 can range up to 40%, but that's what we pay to the coal-fired power generator or the wind farm or solar farm or the gas power generator. That's to produce the electricity. Another slice that's significant, it's a little bit larger actually, something more like 40 to 50%, is for all the networks and the transmission that's required to get it to our door. So that's actually a bigger part of the bill in general than actually generating the energy. And there's also a little bit extra on top of that, which is incurred because there are a bunch of environmental schemes that we have to basically subsidise things like trying to get efficient appliances into houses and rooftop solar on roofs. So we actually add a little bit more to our bills on top of that to be able to basically push those things into the system. And furthermore, there's also there's a margin for the retailers on top of that. So call those extra things the subsidies for solar systems and as well the retailers on top. That's a third part. That's probably the smallest part at the moment, but it could grow at some point soon. But the really big one to watch out for is the transmission one, because that's already the largest single component. Transmission and distribution, sorry. Distribution is like the poles and wires in your street. Transmissions are the big cross-country wires that you see going through the paddocks. But those together are the largest single component, and we're about to see those expand considerably in our bill. And that's because we need to have a whole bunch more transmission going out to all the remote, far-flung places that are used for generating wind and solar. And that's just a fundamental, unavoidable consequence of relying on a weather-dependent system for wind and solar, because the best place to build the next wind farm is as far away from the last one, so you get a different set of wind weather and experiences, and as close as possible to existing generation. And squaring that circle just means that you end up building a lot more transmission lines. And that's something which everyone's quite open and honest about. It's an unavoidable fact and reality of a renewable-dominated energy system. But those things will start to hit our bills. We're seeing at the moment the main projects, HumeLink and VNI West, some of the biggest projects in our history, really, they're about to start hitting bills in the coming year. And so they'll be adding about $10 billion of capital investment onto our electricity bills, which should start coming through in terms of noticeable percentage increases in our bills in the next few years.
Yes, so much for Albanese's little discount on our energy bill. It really does come down to the cost of energy generation, how that cost has changed, this rapid, oh my God, we have to switch to net zero, the world is going to boil frenzy that we've had going on in the last few years. That has seen politicians use excessive amounts of taxpayer dollars instead of allowing efficient market forces to drive the best technology available.